What makes a muscle car? What made them so special in the 60s and the 70s? Well, they had big engine, massive power. They were two-door muscle coupes that the average working man could afford. And they were also very simple to work on and modify. But what about the design? Well, sketching a muscle car is pretty easy, and I love them because they've always been my type of styling. They have simple geometric shapes, long sweeping beautiful lines with graphics that are functional and straight to the point. Muscle cars also have big fenders with fat tires and wheels, making them look planted and of course extremely muscular. And that's what I love about these types of cars. They're purposeful, and driving them or even just looking at them passing by is an experience with a lot of drama. In the mid-2000s, Dodge wanted to bring back the muscle cars, and what better way to do it than to take a lot of design inspiration from the 60s and 70s classics. Now, what I want you to keep in mind here is that the development of the new body style Challenger started back in 2004, and that's 16 years ago. So what I want to do now is to show you something really cool, because you very, very rarely see this type of transition from concept to production as the ones I'm going to show you right now. Let's have a look at the concepts of the three modern pony cars, the Mustang, the Camaro, and the Challenger, and then I'm gonna show you why they were such big successes when they launched. Welcome back to the channel, it's TheSketchMonkey here, and today of course is all about muscle cars, and here we are inside of Photoshop. So what I want to do now is to show you just how special these three cars are, just based on the concept cars that they launched at the time and how well that transitioned into the production version of the cars. So here we have of course the Camaro, and at the bottom is the concept, and at the top you have the production versions. So you can see that there is not a lot of changes going on here, and they even took, I feel like these cars, all these three cars, they transformed well from sketch phase into concept and then into production, meaning that the production has the same feeling and the same stance as the original sketches, and that almost never happens in the car industry today. And one thing that all these three cars had in common, the first iteration of the Camaro, as you see up here, is the simplicity of the design. It's very true to the muscle car generation from the 60s and the 70s, which was all about simplicity and keeping the graphics to a minimum. And that's the thing that I think has changed for two of the cars, the Camaro and the Mustang. So let's have a look at the Mustang here. This down here is the first Mustang concept at the bottom. And the funny thing about this is, I think that the concept for the Mustang in 2004, 2005 here, it looks almost like the updated facelift that came out in 2010, because you can see here that the graphics here is a lot narrower in height than it is here. It's like they squared it off even more on the production and made it even more muscle car looky by squaring things off in the front and the graphics than they had here, which has some softer corners right here and also softer radiuses all around the car. And this reminds me a lot more than the 2010 Mustang that was the first facelift from the original modern Mustang that came out in 2005, I believe. But still, same thing here. I think this transitioned well from sketches to concept and then to production, although I think the Mustang is the least satisfying design. When you look at the concept and the sketches and then you look at the production, I feel something was lost along the way here. The Camaro and the Challenger both do this very, very well, and I'm gonna show you the Challenger right now. This is the, of course, concept at the bottom here, and then you have the production version at the top. And the thing here, you can barely tell the difference between these two. It's a very stripped down design. You don't even have a change in the side mirrors here. It's still the same from concept to production, But the easiest way to tell if a car is a concept car is to look at the stance and the wheels. If they are very flush to the body, as it is here on the concept, you can tell that it is a concept, and that's one thing that always has to change when a car goes into production from concept, is to move the wheels into the body of the car so you have more space here, and also that the wheels themselves, they sit inside of the body more further in than they do on the concept cars. So as you can see with all these three cars, it's like the manufacturers Ford, Dodge, and Chevy, they had a good idea of what they wanted to create, and they went to work on that with the initial sketches, and then they wanted to keep that, the feeling and the vibe of those sketches all the way into production. I think all of these three cars made a good job doing that, except a little bit the Mustang is lacking some of it. But one thing I do love about the Camaro here that I want to touch on is this rear fender. I think this is a beautiful touch that goes back to the original. And if you look at the greenhouse on the original 67, 68 Camaro and you look at this, it's a very clean modernization right here. And I love that they have this massive shelf here, which creates a very muscular feel for the Camaro. This is my second favorite modern version of an old muscle car, and of course number one is the Challenger. And now I want to talk about what happened to these cars and the facelifts that kind of ruined the design, for me at least, for two of these cars, the Mustang and the Camaro. And also I think that is honestly the reason why the Challenger, which is almost a 16-year-old design with very few changes, even in the facelift up until the Superstock, which is the latest one which is a 2021 model, they still kept the basic shape and even the graphics almost the same as the first iteration of the Challenger, even the first sketch from 2004, which I think is pretty impressive. Alright, so here we have, of course, the latest versions of these three pony cars, and this is the beautiful looking, I think it's a beautiful car, the Mustang here, and this is the Mach 1, of course. So what happened here compared to the original design right here? Well, it feels like the Mustang has tried to become more of a all-around sports car and less of a muscle car to kind of widen the audience and the target audience for who they want to sell this car to. And I think they did a good job in doing that. The Mustang is probably the sportiest car of these three, the Camaro, the Challenger, and the Mustang. It's the car that corners the best and is best on a racetrack, but it's lost that muscle car feel, and it doesn't know really what it wants to be. To me, it wants to be too many things at once, and it's definitely moved away from the muscle car design as well, because now we have a very sloping front end like this. The hood slopes down like this. It's more of an aggressive, traditional sport car looking vibe when you look at this car compared to the original right here, which has a very squared off front, just like muscle cars should have if you look at them from the 70s and the 60s. And now we have a more organic shape with a lot of styling features and cues going on here. A lot of different lines that goes all around, and there is not one single line in the front that connects everything, and we don't have one horizontal line, which to me is a necessity if you want it to be a muscle car. One key line in the front, it needs to be a horizontal line that goes from one side of the car to the other side without being broken. It should be just a straight line that goes from one side to the other, something like this. And then under here you can do whatever you want, but you need to have at least one line like that if it's going to be called a muscle car design wise, in my opinion, and we don't have that here in the Mustang. So looking at the Camaro from 2019 here and 2020, they did a slight redesign to get rid of this massive black hole in the front, which was a very controversial design from Chevy to do that, put it on this car. But this looks more muscle car-y than the Mustang, in my opinion. This is still a very cool and solid, simple looking design, but you can see here we have some styling going on right here. And this, as I've said before, it feels like the Camaro and the Mustang, they all fell victim to this over-styling trend that's been going on for at least 10 years back. But it even spilled over to the muscle car segment here on the Camaro and the Mustang. Mustang, and I think that's a shame. I think they would have benefited, both of them, from keeping it even more restrained and go back even more in graphics, which I think is going to happen moving forward if Chevy decides to make another Camaro after this. It's not really sure yet. And of course the Mustang is now an SUV, so we have no idea what's going on in the future of these cars. But I think even the Camaro here is a little bit overstyled in the front. There's too much going on, but at least they have a horizontal line that goes from one end to the other that's unbroken right there, even though it has a bit of curvature to it, which also takes away from the muscle car-ness and brings in more of a traditional sports car look and feel of the front end. Now, so why is the Challenger the most successful and still the best-selling muscle car among these three? Well, to me, it's very simple, because if I were to buy one of these cars today, and if I wanted to have a modern muscle car, there really only is one option left, and that is the Challenger. I mean, just look at this car and compare it to the other two, and also compare it to the first iteration of the Challenger right here, and how little has changed up until the Superstock, which is the 2021 latest Challenger. You can see that there is not a lot that's been changed here. We still have very simple graphics in the front, just as a muscle car should have. We have a lot of horizontal lines here, a lot of squared off features, and also two simple headlights like this, 4 or 2 in each corner, creates a very strong identity for the Challenger, and immediately you know that this is a Challenger when you see it from the front. The Mustang Camaro, yes, you can still see that's what they are, but a little bit less defined, because they've been stylized so hard since the first iteration of them that it's not as easy to say what they are. But if you look at a Challenger, you immediately recognize this face, and the simplicity of it has actually helped it become the most popular muscle car among these three, even today, even with a 16-year-old design as this Challenger actually is. The only thing that's been changed here, yes, they added some beefier flares to the side, which to me suits this genre very well, because muscle cars is all about drama, it's all about having fun with the design. So adding some beefy fenders or wide body kit to this design just makes it look even more muscle car, in my opinion. But other than that, we have a different hood, of course, tiny changes there. We have different headlights now. We have LEDs here instead of the old headlights that came out in 2007 or 8. But other than that, it's the exact same design, and that, in my opinion, is why the Challenger is still outselling the Camaro and Mustang, even though they've had major facelifts over the last few years. So is the Challenger the best sports car in this segment? No, and it doesn't have to be, because it knows what it is. It wants to be a muscle car and have all the features of a muscle car, meaning it's better, it's faster in a straight line, and it has a lot of power, a lot of fun. Maybe it can't really put all the power down onto the ground all the time, but it doesn't matter. It's all about smoke, power, noise, and beefiness. That's what a muscle car is all about. And I'm really glad that Dodge didn't fall for the overstyling epidemic that's been going on now, and stayed true to their original styling of the Challenger. And as we can see by the sales number, this turned out to be a winning strategy.